Hello. ඔයාලමට ගොඩක් ප්‍රශ්න එවලා තිබ්බා undergraduate students undergraduate studies සම්බන්ධව USA. ඔයාලා හැමෝම දන්නවා මම ලංකාවේ මගේ first degree එක සහ second degree එක කරලා තමයි US ආවේ. හැබැයි ගොඩක් අය ප්‍රශ්න තිබ්බා කොහොමද after A level එහෙම නැත්නම් after O level උනත් කොහොමද එන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න ගැන ගොඩක් අහලා තිබ්බා. ඉතින් මම එයාලට කමෙන්ට්ස් වලින් එහෙම නැත්නම් මගේ මෙසේජස් වලින් මම උත්තර දුන්නා. හැබැයි මම සෙපරේට් වීඩියෝ එකක් කරන්න ඒ ගැන හිතාගෙන හිටියා උනත් ඒක විද හිතුවින්ද ඒක පොඩ පස්සේ දැම්මා. හැබැයි මට හම්බුණා කෙනෙක් US වල undergraduate degree එක කරලා දැන් ආයෙ ලංකාවට ගිහිල්ලා ඉන්නේ. හැබැයි එයා හොඳ රිසෝස් එකක් අපිට මේ ප්‍රශ්න ටිකට උත්තර හොයාගන්න. ඔයාලට තිබ්බ ප්‍රශ්න වලට උත්තර හොයාගන්න. ඉතින් මම එයාව කන්ටැක්ට් කරලා friendly conversation එකක් කරන්න ඉදා ඉන්නවා. ඔයාලා ඒවල තිබ්බ ප්‍රශ්න ටික මම කොලේක ලියාගෙන එයාට යවුවා. දැන් අපි මේ ප්‍රශ්න ටික උත්තර තමයි මේ වීඩියෝ එකේ දිගටම කතා කරන්න යන්නේ. මේ වීඩියෝ එකෙන් ඔයාලා දෙන ප්‍රශ්නට උත්තරේ හම්බුනේ නැත්නම් වීඩියෝ පල්ලා කමෙන්ට් එකක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මම ශවීගේ contacts නැත්නම් එයාගේ Instagram ඒ ටිකත් අපි share කරන්නම්. එතකොට ඔයාලා directly එයාව උනත් contact කරලා ඔයාලගේ මේ තියෙන පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න වලට විස්තර උත්තර හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So let's welcome Shavi to our Ceylonlife channel. Okay, Shavi, how are you?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me. I actually checked a few of your videos, and they're pretty interesting, and they really make a lot of students out there to get access on how to figure your way as a student in the US. And yes, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for being here too. Yeah, so I always kind of wanted to like motivate people and motivate students because it's we are living in an island and people are not aware of like a lot of things what's happening in the world.
That is true.
Yeah, so it's kind of the main idea of doing this channel also. Anyway, so basically today's our topic is going to be on undergraduate studies in USA. So just want your experience. So you can just share your experience. Let's introduce yourself. Like what do you do now and how did you end up in USA and what made you to choose USA? Just your thoughts and your experience.
All right. So I always wanted to pursue genetics, like my higher studies in genetics. Okay. So as soon as I got myself into this Encarta situation when I was in middle school, I always wanted to get into genetics. But then I realized that the opportunities, the educational opportunities in Sri Lanka are not sufficient for that. So I attended to a popular international school in Sri Lanka. So after attending there, I kind of like wanted to see what my options are. So I selected US because that is for sure the #1 destination for STEM education. It could be undergrad or grad. And also, I really love how the situation really works, like how their technology and everything works. I was so curious on how things were working. So I kind of wanted to go there because of getting myself into a very new culture, and I was intrigued at the same time. So I actually enrolled in a transfer program, which kind of like made me to complete 2 years here and 2 years there. And then I completed 60 credits here, and I got transferred there in 2017 to complete the rest of my 2 credits. The rest of the 2 years. And technically, I started off my US journey from the transfer program in 2016. And then I graduated in 2019. So it's technically a 4-year degree, but then with hard work and perseverance, I was able to finish that in 3 years. So in a nutshell, as an introduction of myself, I am a graduate in biology, to be specific, Bachelor of Science in Biology from Northern Arizona University. That is why I'm repping my college gear right here.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I graduated last year in August in the summer. And I'm here working as a lecturer for a private university in Sri Lanka. And I'm excited to go back to start with my PhD next year.
Wow, wow, cool, cool, cool. So just to make things a little bit clear, uh,
Yeah.
did you do your A levels? Or how did you start your transfer program
Yes, I completed my A levels here.
in
You could,
Balaji?
yeah, yeah, I completed my A levels here, but you could also go with your O levels. But
Okay,
then you have to complete a separate foundation year for that if you
okay,
don't have A levels. But then
okay,
if you have A levels, you don't want to do the foundation program, you can directly transfer yourself into the transfer program unit, and then you can complete 2 years here, and then you could technically go there and complete the rest of the 2 years there. But then there is a little bit of a shortcoming in these transfer programs because they say you could complete 60 credits here and you could complete 60 credits there. That's what they say. But
mm-hmm.
then when you go there,
Yeah,
like out of all these 60 credits, only 45 credits will be technically transferred, and then you are out of the 15 credits, and you need to make sure you need to cover all of them. So I was like, okay. And I actually worked hard every summer and every winter while working. I also took classes so
yeah,
that I could technically graduate in 2 years. So it's not like a very linear process, like in fall and spring kind of a thing. I also used my winter and summer as well. So I actually recommend people to do their summer courses and winter courses so that they could graduate sooner and start off their other prospects in life pretty much sooner as well. So that's my policy. But yeah, it could differ with other people, but they could also go straight away for the 4 year program as well. So that they could like technically do the fall spring kind of a thing. And complete it. But I'm just saying, like some cost saving situations, like we
okay.
never know, right?
Yep, yep, yep,
So
yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
I'm
Okay,
being clear with
so
that. Yeah.
yeah, so let's summarize the idea a little bit. Okay, so Shavi
Yeah.
කියන විදිහට එයාගේ first එයා transfer program එකක් කරා තමයි US එකට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට එයා ඩිග්‍රී එක ලංකාවේ පටන්ගෙන ඒක අවුරුදු දෙකක් කම්ප්ලීට් කරලා ඊටු අවුරුදු දෙක US වල කරපු ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් තමයි ඒක. එතකොට හැබැයි අපි කියන විදිහට අපි අපි කල්ලුත් මේක චුට්ටක් කතා කරලා තියෙනවා O level ඉවර කරලා ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් කෝස් එකක් කරලා ෆවුන්ඩේෂන් කෝස් එක කරලා එතනින් පටන්ගෙන එන්නත් පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් O levels වලින් පස්සේ directly US apply කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. අපි ඊළඟට බලමු මොනවද main qualifications ඕන උනේ US වලට නැත්නම් මේ US university එකට apply කරද්දී කියලා. Okay, Shavi. Can you just explain or like express your ideas? What, according to you, what did you have to complete there other than your first 2 years in your program, first 2 years in your degree program back in Sri Lanka? What else did you have to complete? I mean, like English qualifications and like something like SAT exam that we know. So stuff like that. What did you have to actually complete? Yeah.
So I completed the TOEFL,
Mm-hmm.
and because TOEFL is a must-have for all international students admitting to the US.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the English requirements. So for undergrads, they could actually go to that particular university's website, and under the undergrad programs, they have the admission requirements, and they say which threshold for the TOEFL or IELTS. So most of the universities, they have a threshold around 60 to 80. I mean, this is a generalized one, okay? So the score should be more than 60 or 60 to 80. So that's a very generalized one, like a ballpark. But on top of that, you need the TOEFL and then the SAT, the SATs, the Scholastic Aptitude Test. Basically, they do not have a, like, for the most part, they do not have a real score for that, a cutoff score kind of a thing. But normally the universities really like to have a score around 75th percentile or more. So it's like it actually differs from university to university as well. So when you kind of like research your university for undergrad education, like there are some website called Niche. So when you go to the Niche website, you could kind of like type in your university and see what the ballpark scores for SATs on for the admissions and everything. So for most part, a lot of universities accept like somewhere about 75th to 80th percentile of the SATs. So I did TOEFLs and SATs, and I didn't do ACTs or anything. You could
Okay.
even do that, but then it's not a must-have, but it's very recommended to do the TOEFLs or IELTS and SATs. And
Okay.
then the people with the transfer program situation, they should have a better GPA, like more than
Yeah.
3.0 for scholarships. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So another question that just came up in my mind.
Right.
So did your A-level results mattered here when you are
Nope.
applying for the program? No,
Nope. Nothing
because you
really
already
matters.
have 2 years. You already had 2 years completed as an undergraduate there. Okay,
Yes,
cool.
that is correct.
Yes. Okay. So again, Shavi කියන විදිහට සහ the basic qualifications අපි දැනගන්න ඕන දේවල් ටික තමයි ඔයාලට A level plus English requirement TOEFL or IELTS ඊළඟට SAT exam එක. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයා transfer program එක නම් ඉන්නේ transfer program එකේ හොඳ GPA එකක් plus TOEFL or IELTS plus SAT exam එක තමයි basic requirements විදිහට ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම අපි අපිට ඇහුණා දැනගත්තා වෙබ්සයිට් එකක් තියෙනවා niche. Am I correct?
Yeah, niche is the website.
Okay, so
Yeah.
ඒ වෙබ්සයිට් එකට ගිහිල්ලා අපිට පුළුවන් අපේ SAT score එක දාලා අපි යුනිවර්සිටි එක සර්ච් කරලා අපේ SAT score එක දාලා අපිට බලා ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒක අපිට ඇතිද නැද්ද කියලා. It's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So මම ඒ links ඔක්කොම share කරන්නම් blog එකේ හරි පල්ලා description එකේ හරි එතකොට ඔයාලට පුළුවන් මේ වෙබ්සයිට් එක access කරන්න. Right. Next thing, shall we little bit talk about the expensive, the main concern of all of us. So
Yeah.
basically, as I know, for undergraduates, there are not much scholarships or funding programs like that. You have to cover your basic needs, but it's so from the graduate studies. So the broad topic. So how did you manage your 2 years here, and did you get any scholarships? I know like there are some scholarships like you will get a 50% or 30% scholarship like tuition various or like something stuff like that, and also you do like small on-campus jobs under F1 visa.
Yeah.
But basically you have to cover your tuition fee by yourself. That's all the stuff that I know. So I would like to know your personal experience.
Yes. Now, when it comes to the expenses, now that's the huge chunk of everything. But because of my academics and everything, because I got my like scores overall in a better position, I was able to get a scholarship which was almost a full ride. So it's pretty rare. So so because it was like connected to a transfer program, I was able to kind of like find connections in the university to get an international scholarship. And I was able to fund it, like fund a majority of my tuition. And then for the rest of the part, we were kind of like very managed with our monies, because we need to make sure that everything is on track. So, however, for me, I had to like pay my rent and my insurance, like another campus recreational fees, like out of pocket, which were not covered by the university. So the university only covered my tuition.
Okay.
But the rest of the expenses, like my food, my accommodation, which is like my rent, and then the other recreational expenses, like which is connected to campus, and the health insurance, which is the medical insurance, and all of those expenses were out of pocket, and they were not covered. And but the other thing is, I have noticed that there are a lot of places in Sri Lanka where they give very flexible student loans. So I mean, like if you try places like People's Bank, NSB, they have like good, they're like pretty much good banks and very reliable to plan your entire journey as an international student and going for a student loan. And then on top of that, a lot of international students need money. So they have a real problem in getting money to themselves. So the parents been using like a lot of transfer options like MoneyGram and stuff like that. But then it's actually taking a huge commission, and it's kind of very crazy sometimes. So that is service from BOC, which is the Green Line service. Anyone can go to the BOC head office in Colombo, and what we call as Tutu Bamboo. So you could go there and go and meet those people and get it ready for you, and they're pretty much all good to go. And you have to go visit the foreign relation or foreign reimbursement branch, like the sub department in that branch. So they will arrange everything for you, and they actually take a very less commission compared to other money transfer services.
Okay.
And that was very helpful to me
Okay.
when it comes to like
That's
paying the rent and all of that. And yeah, so that's the big part. But then when it comes to the on-campus jobs, because technically we are only eligible to do on-campus jobs during the school year. If we do any sort of off-campus job, it's like literally violating our F1 visa.
yeah.
So nobody wants to do that
Yeah.
because I have seen a lot of people doing that and getting away from the US and getting
Yeah.
expelled from the school. So nobody wants to do that. So, and also when it comes to jobs, it's a little bit of I would say a challenge.
Uh,
But yeah, but if you kind of like go to their handshake website, every university has their own career website, which is a handshake website. So go to the handshake website, apply for the jobs. They have like some of the jobs, a lot of, I mean, when it comes to international students, a lot of them cannot apply for all of them.
yeah.
So there are like some jobs which are only eligible for international students, which are not eligible for international students. So when you filter them and search, you will get a lot of jobs. And what I'm saying is, don't afraid to do any sort of a custodian job. Like, do not, because even the students there do jobs like that. But in my case, I didn't come across any custodian jobs because from day one, I made a point to communicate to my professors and to get hold of them all the time. And with their help, I was able to get into jobs like, teaching assistantships,
Yeah.
research assistantships. Like during the summers, I was like working in a lab inside, on campus.
Yeah.
And then I was able to work as an undergraduate teaching assistant for statistics during the school year. Those things actually took place with that sort of a friendship that I built with my professors. So that's another key thing. You need to network with your professors. Then only you'll be able to know how the jobs are situated, are happening on campus. And like if you have access to the handshake website of your university, please check them out. And if you have a career fair, because every university in the US, they organize a career fair at least once a semester. So basically go to all career fairs, talk to those people and see. And because like both on campus and off campus agents will be there to like talk to you about jobs and all of that, and internships on top of that. So please go attend to those career fairs, and you'll get a lot of information. And yes, and I was able to, and also when it comes to salaries, like
Mm-hmm.
how we were paid. So I was paid actually $10 an hour. So
Okay.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah. So like in my university, I mean, it also depends from state to state.
Yeah.
So because this is the Northern Arizona University, that's basically like in the northern part of the state of Arizona. So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of manageable,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my time of life. So somewhere in between 10 to 15 is the ballpark rate for an okay and a manageable pay for an on-campus job.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. It depends on the state, of course, because in Ohio,
Yeah,
the salary was for on-campus jobs, mainly for undergrads. It's like I think $8. Even last year,
yeah.
8.5, because
Mm,
Ohio is what do you call that? Inexpensive state. It's like
all right.
it's like very low. Even our
Mm,
salary was like it's like around $2,000 uh,
okay.
per month.
Mm,
Yeah. Right. So ශවි කියන විදිහට එයා වාසනාවන්ත වෙලා තියෙනවා ස්කෝලර්ෂිප් එකක් මැනේජ් කරගන්න ටියුෂන් වලට. මොකද මම ගොඩක් අයට කමෙන්ට්ස් වලින් මැසේජ් වලින් මම උත්තර දීලා තියෙනවා මේ ටියුෂන් කොහොමද කියලා. සෙමෙස්ටර් එකකට ඩොලර්ස් 10,000 සමහරවිට 20,000ක් වගේ වෙනකන් වෙනස් වෙනවා. Tuition fees ඒක depend වෙනවා යුනිවර්සිටි එකකින් යුනිවර්සිටි එකට වගේම ස්ටේට් එකකින් ස්ටේට් එකකට වගේම ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකකින් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකකට කොහොම හරි ඔයාලට ලොකු මුදලක් සෙමෙස්ටර් එකකට වියදම් කරන්න වෙනවා. හැබැයි ෂවිට පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙනවා ස්කෝලර්ෂිප් එක හදාගන්න එයාගේ ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක හරහා ටියුෂන් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අයින් කරගන්න. හැබැයි එයාට ගෙදර රෙන්ට් එක basically ඉන්න තැන රෙන්ට් එක තමන්ගේ කෑම බීම සහ හෙල්ත් ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එක මේජර් පෝෂන් එකක් නැත්නම් මේජර් එක්ස්පෙන්ස් එකක් US වලදී අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම හෙල්ත් ඉන්ෂුරන්ස් එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔය ටිකට අතින් එහෙම නැත්නම් basically මම හිතන්නේ පෙරන්ට්ස්ලා සපෝට් කරන්න ඇති ඒ කාලේට තමන්ගේ අතින් වියදම් කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම on campus jobs ගැන කතා කරද්දී on campus jobs තියෙනවා. සතියට පැය 20ක් තමයි requirement එක නැත්නම් limit එක
that's correct.
ඒක යටතේ වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔයාලට ගන්න හදාගන්න පුළුවන් ඒ ජොබ් එක හොයාගෙන සතියට පැය 20ක් වැඩ කරලා ලීගලි අපිට යම්කිසි මුදලක් එතනින් හොයාගන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඒක සමහර වෙලාවට ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඇති වෙයි තමන්ගේ කැම්ප් වීමට එහෙම නැත්නම් රෙන්ට් එකට මොකක් හරි එකකට. හැබැයි ඔයාගේ අතේ ඔයාට ගෙදර කට්ටියට නැත්නම් ඔයාට යම්කිසි මුදලක් වියදම් කරන්න හැකියාවක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ basically. ඔයාට ස්කෝලර්ෂිප් එකක් හම්බුනේ නැත්නම් ටියුෂන් වලටත් ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම තව ෂවි පොයින්ට් කරපු වැදගත් පොයින්ට් එකක් තමයි ලංකාවෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන් ස්ටුඩන්ට් ලෝන්ස් මහජන බැංකුවෙන් ඒ වගේම NSB එකෙන් මාත් දැකලා තියෙනවා. ලංකාවේ විපලයි මාත් දැකලා තියෙනවා ඇඩ්වර්ටයිස් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඔයාලට ඒ වගේ බැංක් එකක් හරහා බැංක් එකක් කතා කරලා ස්ටුඩන්ට් ලෝන් එකකට ඇප්ලයි කරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණොත් ඒ හරහා ඔයාලට මේ ටියුෂන් ගෙවලා ස්ටඩීස් කම්ප්ලීට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. right.
And can I add one more
Yeah, sure.
about so if so let's say that the student doesn't want to work on campus during the summers, then that student has an eligibility of something called the CPT, which is the curriculum practical training, and that is something you could actually use during your school year, like not the school year, but in the summers, in order to go work off campus. But for something which is related to your major. So as an example, let's take that someone is doing an engineering major, and then he wants to sort of like do an off-campus internship working in an engineering firm, and then he wants to sort of like do his cert, but then he wants to make sure that he has the eligibility for the CPT, and if he has everything all good, he could straight away apply for an internship through the career portal of the university or through Indeed, and get a job settled in that, get an internship settled for the summer, and then he could technically use the CPT eligibility for that. So that's an extra
Okay.
fact.
Yes. Okay. So basically, summers like කියන්නේ අපි mainly මේ semesters ෆෝල් ස්ප්‍රිං දෙකේ තමයි මේන්ලි අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්නේ. හැබැයි සමර්ස් වලත් අපිට පුළුවන් සමය එකේ සහ වින්ටර් එකේත් අපිට පුළුවන් සමහර කෝසස් අරගෙන ක්‍රෙඩිට් රික්වයර්මන්ට් එක කම්ප්ලීට් කරන්න. හැබැයි බේසිකලි අපිට සමය එකේ වැඩ කරන්න පුළුවන් CPT කියන ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකට ඇප්ලයි කරලා එතකොට අපිට පුළුවන් වැඩි මුදල් ප්‍රමාණයක් උපය ගන්නත් පුළුවන් සමය එකේ වැඩ කරලා. ඒ ඔප්ෂන් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට අපි තව පොඩි දේවල් ටිකක් මේ දේවල් ටිකක් තියෙනවා කතා කරන්න. Okay. So another major question that popping up every time is the visa process. So I guess in your case, I don't want to do any assumptions. Let's hear from you. So how did you do your visa process? And another question, like another part of that question, is it what's the best for a student to use a agency or do the visa process by the student himself or herself? What is recommended and what did you do in your case?
I did it by myself. Cool. So no, yeah. So didn't go for any agent because I actually first I kind of served the entire Homeland Security website, usvisa.gov website and everything just to make sure what they're actually asking in the visa application and what sort of mistakes people do in their visa applications. And then I kind of learned a good lesson from that. And then I turned into filling in my F1 visa application all by myself. And I turned it in, and I think it actually took like 2 weeks to process along with the interview because it was kind of like, I mean, I don't know whether it was the nature, like how it happened during those days way back in 2017. It was pretty expedited. So, and I mean, the visa interview was like super cool. Like they didn't even like ask a lot of questions from me. They were like, okay, so what's your major? What are you planning to do after this? And I mean, I technically think that they kind of asked the last question because they don't want to have any sort of a legal connection to like stay there and not leaving kind of a thing. So I had my answers already for that. I mean, those were the two questions they asked from me, but the situation is very different for everyone. But when they go to the interview, I actually recommend everyone to have their bank statements and some sort of a statement on their fixed assets because they look for the money because they need to make sure that you have all the bonds, like you have all the bonds tied to this place and you're not like settling there as a refugee or something like that. Yeah, so you need to make sure that all of the things are there and your birth certificate, that should be in English, and your passport, obviously you need to have that. And then I also took my NIC just in case. And I think that was pretty much it. And also on top of that, I took my education certificates. They didn't give a damn about it, but you know, we never know. So take all of them and go. And also on top of that, I got my TOEFL exam result sheets and the SAT exam result sheets as well, and my transfer institution exam sheets, like the transcripts, and that was it. And that was the real thing I took. But I 100% recommend to take the financial documentation because they really check on that. And just to make sure you need to have at least that tuition amount you're supposed to keep in the affidavit for at least 6 months before the interview. So let's say your interview is in July. So at least by January or February, you need to have everything ready. So you need to, like, let's say that you're supposed to show 35,000 US dollars in your bank account, which is the entire tuition amount that you need to show. And you need to show that tuition amount for at least 6 months before the interview day. So you need to make sure that your finances are ready to go beforehand, like way beforehand. So that's something. And on top of that, I don't think, and also with the new application, because I didn't come across this. The new application declares something on the social media. So be a little bit careful with what you post in social media
Yeah.
sometimes, because they have a separate section in the application for social media right now, for both student and visitor visa. So yeah, that's pretty much it on how visa works.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
I want to add another small thing to this section as well. Uh,
Yeah.
what is the what do you call that? Application deadline for undergraduate programs. Like if a student wants to plan their next year or the plan the application uh,
Mm.
for applying for US
Yeah.
university, according to your experience, when do they need to actually like think of it, and when do they really actually need to look for schools and like stuff like that?
So yeah, that's the thing. That's the other thing. This deadline really differs for undergraduate programs. So it's not like graduate program, because
Okay.
in graduate programs, you normally start off the applications at the end of August
Yes.
to the beginning of January.
Yes.
Okay, but
Yeah.
then it's a little bit different with the undergrad,
Okay.
because when I actually applied to my university, I applied on March 2017. That was like on the same year I went to the US, but then on March. But what I would recommend is like, because they do it like in a rolling basis. So I would actually, if someone is interested to go to the US to study, what I would say is like right after finishing your A-levels, let's say August, so you're done with your A-levels, like start off researching your schools and all of that, and the funding they need, the tuition they have, and then the scholarships they have, and all of that. Complete that research like in 1 month, and then there's another good resource, which is the Fulbright Commission in Sri Lanka, which is located in Colombo 3. um, Go to that place. I'm not sure whether it's open now due to COVID, but I actually went to their like seminars and everything just to make sure what I am actually lacking on
Okay.
the university education and what kind of things they expect. And they also have orientations for people who receive their I-20s and who receive their student visas separately, and please attend them. It's a good resource. So so first do your self research, and then go to the Fulbright Commission, and then also have your access to the American Center. If you have some sort of a connection with the American Center, like go to that place, talk to people, and have some sort of an idea how US undergraduate education works, because not all transfer programs give you that entire outlook, because I
Mhm.
had to go to those places and kind of study how US education system works, so that
Yes.
I was way more comfortable when I went to the US to
Mhm.
start off. And I would consider like finish up doing everything like in 2 or 3 months, and probably send your application like let's say 6 to 7 months beforehand the application, like the fall semester, the commencement of the fall semester. So that basically, because a lot of international students enter to the United States as new students in fall, in comparative to the spring.
Yep.
So let's say your semester starts in August, I don't know, August 20th. You need
Mhm.
to make sure that you're done with your research and all of that during the last year, and then you should have like applied to your university in January, and January, February kind of a time frame is a good
Okay.
time. And then April 15th, there's a deadline called April 15th, which is the yes no deadline. So before that deadline, you need to tell the university that you will accept this offer to this university or not. If you
Okay.
didn't, if you didn't tell anything, or if you kind of like ignore it, they
Mhm.
will technically ignore your application, and they will not readmit you or defer you or anything. So before the April 15th deadline, you need to say yes or no to the universities that you would or you would not want to attend. So yeah, so before April 15th, make sure everything is okay. So that's the ballpark for the most for the majority of the undergrad programs. I know it's a little bit different with the graduate programs, but undergrads can go to the websites of their interested university and check specifically for their deadline, because each undergraduate program has a specific deadline. Sometimes that even the department, even like department has a separate deadline in some universities. So for the most part, it's kind of generalized. But my 100% advice is to go to your university. Now, let's say it's the University of Arizona, go to the undergraduate admissions, and then all the way you find deadlines. And then in the deadline, if they say rolling admissions, you could apply whenever you want. But then if they have a certain application deadline, then you have to apply beforehand in each year. So that's how it works.
Okay. Right. So, Shavi කියන විදිහට basically අපිට හොඳ skill එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ self study කරන්න. Right? So, even visa process එක අපිට තනියම කරගන්න පුළුවන්. agency එකක් ඕනේ නැහැ. මගේ personal experience එකත් ඒකයි. මම ඔයාලට කලින් videos එකක් කියලා දෙනවා. අපිට US mainly the visa website එක සහ යාළගේ homeland security website එක ඔය main websites දෙක අපිට follow කරලා අපිට main idea ටික ගන්න පුළුවන් ideas ටික ගන්න පුළුවන් මොකක්ද වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා සහ steps ඔක්කොම step by step යාළ explain කරලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපිට visa process එක තනියම කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මම දන්න තරමට එහෙම agency නෑ ලංකාවේ. US වලට especially directly ළමයි direct කරනවා කියලා මම දැකලා නෑ එහෙම. සහ application process එක පටන් ගද්දී හොඳම විදිහ තමයි ඔයාලා A level කරලා ඒ පළවෙනි මාසේ විතරම පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ schools හොයන්න. schools හොයලා ඔයාලට ගැලපෙන program එක හොයලා ඒ ටික කරලා කොහොම හරි ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා 2020 A level කරනවා නම් 2021 fall එකට US යන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ 2021 අගෝස්තු මාසේ ආයෝ වගේ US යන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වගේ degree program එක පටන් ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් ඔයාලා ජනවාරි පෙබරවාරි වගේ වෙද්දී ඔයාලගේ ඔක්කොම qualifications ටික complete කරගෙන A level එතකොට results ඇවිල්ලා තියෙයි ඊළඟට IELTS or TOEFL ඊළඟට SAT exam එක මේ ටික කරලා ඒ ඔක්කොමත් එක්ක full application package එක ජනවාරි පෙබරවාරි මාර්තු වගේ මාසවල submit කරන්න බලාගෙන ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඊළඟට ඔයාලට reply එකක් ආවට පස්සේ universities වලින් deadline එකක් තියෙනවා අප්‍රේල් 15ද 30ද
අප්‍රේල් 15
අප්‍රේල් 15 ඔව් එතන අප්‍රේල් 15 තමයි graduate students ලටත් ඒ deadline එක තියෙන්නේ වගේම undergraduate ලට ඔයාලා ඒ අප්‍රේල් 15 වෙද්දී decide කරන්න ඕනේ මේ university එකට ඔයාලට offer එකක් ආවොත් එහෙම ඒක accept කරනවද නැද්ද කියලා. ඊළඟට visa interview එකේදී major questions සහ major concern නැත්නම් ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් ඔයාලා හිතේ තියාගන්න ඕනේ සහ ඔයාලා ගාව තියෙන්න ඕන main document එකක් විදිහට main documents විදිහට ඔයාගේ financial aid එක කියන්නේ ඔයාලා undergraduate degree program එකට යනවා නම් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට university එකෙන් full funded වෙන්නේ නැහැ full funded වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට university එකෙන් යම් කිසි කොටසක් සමහරවිට කව වෙන්න පුළුවන් scholarship එකක් හම්බෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන් සමහරවිට මුකුත් නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔයාලා ඒකට අදාළව ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාට අපි හිතමු අවුරුද්දට ඩොලර් 50000ක් ඕනේ. යුනිවර්සිටි එකෙන් ඩොලර් 20000ක් කවර් කරනවා. එතකොට ඒ ડોකියුමන්ට්ස් ඔයාගාව ඒ වෙනකොට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඊට එහෙනම් ඔයාට ඩොලර් 30000ක් පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට ඒ අදාළ ඩොලර් 30000ට අදාළව ඔයාලගේ ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් ડોකියුමන්ට්ස් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාගාවේ සල්ලි තියෙනවා කියලා එකට ප්‍රූෆ් එකක් අරන් යන්න ඕනේ. සහ ඒ සල්ලි ඉන්ටර්විව් එක අද නම් ඊයේ බැංකුවට දාලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. මාස 6කට කලින් ඉඳන්වත් ඔයාගේ බැංකුවේ ඒ ටික තියෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තමයි ඒක තමයි පිළිගන්න ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් ડોකියුමන්ට් එකක් නැත්නම් ෆයිනෑන්ෂල් ප්‍රූෆ් එකක් වෙන්නේ. ඒ ටික තමයි බේසිකලි අපි මේ කැලේ මේ ඩිස්කෂන් එකේදී අපිට ගන්න තියෙන දේ උනේ. Right. One last question, Shavi.
All right.
It's Shavi Indi, right? Shavi Indi, yes.
Yeah, Shavi. Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. So that was a good question. Actually, I posted a community post in my channel that asking like if you have any questions regarding undergraduate studies, please comment it below. So few guys like commented like few questions, but some of them are like not really related. So I will answer them later in a different video or by just typing the answer. But like question that I got is like, so this might not apply to your case, but like if somebody is starting from the beginning their undergraduate degree, so the question is, can they change the degree program on the way, like let's say in the first year. I'm sure like you can't change the degree program in your third year or fourth year. It's obviously not the case. But like if you start something in the beginning and after a few months you realize I'm not good at it or something like that, would you be able to change it? In
Fun fact, you could actually change your major
mm-hmm.
during any year
Okay.
unless you have money.
Okay, okay, okay.
Because it extends
I didn't know
all the
that.
way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could change the degree program if you have money, because let's say that you've been doing mechanical engineering and then you are like, oh no, I don't want to do this, I want to get into business. Then
Okay.
you have to start off with the other one who wants in business program, so a little bit more will be shifted to the end, and you've been like sort of like dragged all the way to just to the freshman level. So
Okay.
you
Okay.
need some
Okay.
money in that case. But let's say that it's kind of like in the proximity. So you need to sort of like get into a biomedical engineering program from a medical, so in a from a mechanical engineering program. So it's very proximal. So you just have to kind of like pick and choose some courses here and there and stuff like that, because it's coming under engineering and it's pretty much flexible.
Okay.
In those kind of programs, there won't be a big issues, but then you could actually go as an undecided major. Like when you enter the university, you can go
Okay.
as an undecided major, and then when you go there, when you start off like doing your liberal courses and your general courses, you kind of understand, okay, I'm kind of good at this, I'm kind of not good at this, and then you could kind of decide that okay, this is going to be my major. But my 100% recommendation is to figure out what you want to do, what you like to do, at least by the end of your sophomore year, which is the second year,
Okay.
so that you don't want to sort of struggle at the end of the other years, and you kind of don't want to have a sad day. And because tuition is expensive. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then my story isn't like applicable for everyone else, but I'm saying because a lot of students I have seen falling into that kind of a pit, and they had to like leave the program like without completing the program, and it was very sad.
Okay.
So my advice is to change the major if you really want to change the major in the sophomore year. Then they will actually have some sort of a flexibility with getting the courses adjusted, doing more courses during summer and winter, and then you could kind of like come to that level of 4 years. So so that's something you could do, and on top of that, you could do a minor. So let's say now I'm a biology major with a chemistry minor.
Okay.
So I wanted to do chemistry minor because I feel like that's a pretty much of a push up for the grad school applications. And I would actually encourage people to do a minor, which is kind of like going along with their subject. But I don't really recommend to do like if you're doing let's say engineering, don't do a minor in philosophy because
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty I don't know, it's pretty much like coming to like all fours and it's not going to one way. So if you really want to do something like let's say you want to sort of like study in photography and stuff like that, you could do a certificate or an
Okay.
emphasis. So there are options like that as well, like 2 to 3 credits certificates, 4 to 5 credits worth of like emphasis, and there are some options like that as well. But then a typical major is from 120 to 150 credits, and a minor is from 18 to 25 credits, and then emphasis is from like 5 to 10 credits, and then a certificate is like 2 to 3 credits. So
Okay.
yeah. So the
Okay.
US education is pretty flexible. You could go talk to your academic advisor, who is like the god for
Mm-hmm.
the entire 4 years of your life. So make sure you have a good relationship with your academic advisor. He or she will really help you out to complete your degree program with the great stability and all of that. And on top of that, make sure you have some sort of a connection to your career counselor, so that you kind of like get an idea like how to get your own CV done, how to prepare for interviews, how to sort of like face workplace situations. And the most important thing is to network with your professors. Like, it's really important. I mean, I'm not even kidding, because
Yeah.
I'm here right now, and I was actually transformed into who I am today because of the network that I did with my professors, and they were very helpful to me. And they were very helpful to me in a lot of cases, like writing recommendation letters for graduate school, for workplaces, and they were super essential and super helpful. And make sure, like, when you go back to Sri Lanka for vacation, get them some goodies like tea. They're really loving tea. I'm not kidding. They so much love tea.
Mm-hmm.
And just give them some sort of gratitude, because appreciation is the key to
Yeah,
success.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, so those are like some survival tips
yeah,
on
yeah,
top of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, ඔයාලා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දැන් හිතනවා ඇත්ත මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක මාරු කරන්න බැරි, මේජ් එක මාරු කරන්න බැරි, නැත්නම් අපේ මේන් ඩිග්‍රී එක මාරු කරන්න බැරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන්නේ අපේ ලංකා සිස්ටම් එකත් එක්ක. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මේන් හැඩ ගහලා තියෙන ලංකා සිස්ටම් එක මාත් එහෙමයි. මාත් කලින් හිතන්නේ හිටියේ දැන් සොයි කියන එක මම දැන් හිටියෙත් නෑ. ඔයාලට 3rd year 4th year එකේ වුණත් මේජ් එක මාරු කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒකට හේතුව අපි ලංකාවේ එඩියුකේෂන් සිස්ටම් එකත් එක්ක කල්පනා කරලා බලද්දී mainly තාම majority එක නැත්තම් dominate කරලා තියෙන government universities. ඉතින් මේ government universities වල අපි degree program එකට set වුණාම නැත්තම් degree program එකක් පටන් ගත්තට පස්සේ අපි most of the time අපි set කරලා තියෙන එක නේ අපේ path එක කලින් design කරලා තියෙන්නේ. අපි ඒ path එක යන්න ඕනේ. අපි ඉන්දිය අපි faculty එකට බැඳුනොත් එහෙම අපිට third year එකේදී ගිහලා medical degree එකක් කරන්න බෑ. ඒක ඒ වගේ කරන්න බෑ. හැබැයි අපිට engineering faculty එක ඇතුලේ පොඩි දේවල් කරගෙන electrical mechanical ඒ වගේ දේවල් වලට ඒ කියන්නේ එහෙම මාරු වෙන්න බෑ. හැබැයි අපේ selection එක තියෙනවා first year එකේ second year එකේ. ඊළඟට ඔයාලා science faculty එකට ආවොත් ඒත් එහෙමයි first year එකේ ඔයාලා යම් කිසි subject එකක් තෝරගත්තට පස්සේ second year එකේදී ඔයාලට drop කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි අලුතෙන් ආය add කරගන්න බෑ. ඔයාලට තුනක් අරගෙන එකක් drop කරලා එතනින් දිගටම යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ හරි fixed ඒ කියන්නේ flexible නෑ. හැබැයි US වල එහෙම නෑ. ඔයාට undecided major කියන්නේ අපි මොනවද මේජර් කරන්න කියලා decide කරන්නේ නැතුව degree program එක පටන් ගන්නගෙන අපිට මුල් අවුරුදු දෙකේ නැත්තම් අපිට පුළුවන් ගිහිල්ලා decide කරන්න මොකක්ද අපේ මේජර් එක කියලා. හැබැයි හොඳම ඒක එච්චර ඒක recommend කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා recommend කරන්නේ මොකක්ද? ඔයා තීරණය කරන්න ඕනේ මම මේක තමයි කරන්නේ කියලා. ඒක කරලා අපි එහෙම degree program එකට set වුණාට පස්සේ බැරි වෙලාවත් ඔයාලා අවුරුද්දක් විතර ඇද්දි මේක නෙමෙයි මට කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා පස්සේ හිතුනොත් එහෙම ඔයාලට chance එක තියෙනවා මාරු වෙන්න. හැබැයි ඒ වගේම ඔයාලට සල්ලි තියෙනවා නම් ඔයාලට සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම මේජර් main degree program එක පවා මාරු කරන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඒක expensive වැඩක්. මොකද ඔයා 30 එකේදී හිතමු අපි කර හිටියේ biology major එකක්. හැබැයි ඔයාලට 30 එකේදී හිතනවා නෑ මම biology කරන්න නැතුව මට වෙන මොකක් හරි biomedical engineering හරි වෙන department එක වෙන degree එකක් මාරු වෙන්න ඕන කියලා. එහෙම වුණොත් එහෙම ඔයාලට සමහර වෙලාවට ආය first year එකේ නම් පටන් ගන්න වෙනවා. අන්න එතනදී තමයි ඔය සල්ලි ප්‍රශ්නේ එන්නේ. ඒ වගේ දේවල් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ගොඩක් flexible. ඔයාලට කතා කරලා graduate advisor එක්ක නැත්නම් ඒකට කතා කරලා මේක ගොඩ දාගන්න පුළුවන්. Then Shavi, so
Yep.
This is kind of the I think end of the main question
Okay.
that I have. And I want to give you a small shout out about your podcast, Hold My.
Yeah, sure.
And so I will post all the links in the description. You have your podcast, and I saw you have your Instagram, Hold My Brunch.
Yes, Hold My Brunch. Yeah, Hold My
Hold My
Brunch is my
Yes.
podcast name.
Yes. And also you have your YouTube channel,
Yes,
Hold My
Hold
Brunch.
My Brunch too, yeah.
Yes. So ඔයාලට මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න සහ ඒ වගේම ශවිත් එයාගේ weekly podcast එකේ එයාගේ experience එයාගේ thoughts ගොඩක් මම දැක්කා තියෙනවා. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට අපිට කියන්නේ international student කෙනෙක් විදිහට especially ආසියාවෙන් ඉඳන් ගියාට පස්සේ US වගේ රටකට ආපුවාට පස්සේ වෙන ප්‍රශ්න නැත්තම් අපිට කොහොමද feel වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ දේවල් යාගේ podcast එකේ ලස්සන කතා කරලා තියෙනවා experience යාගේ personal experience එකත් එක්ක add කරලා ඉතින් මේ වගේ ගොඩක් interesting දේවල් යාගේ podcast එකේ තියෙනවා ඔයාලට podcast එක අහන්න පුළුවන් ඒ podcast එකේම copy එකක් යාගේ YouTube channel එකේ එයා publish කරනවා so ඔයාලට podcast අහන්න කැමති නැත්නම් YouTube channel එකේ video එක බලන්න පුළුවන් මම ඒ ඔක්කොම links පල්ලෙහා දාන්නම් ඒ වගේම Shavi's Instagram එකත් මම දාන්නම් hold my brunch. මම ප්‍රශ්න
Yeah.
I think she'll help you according to her knowledge. Okay. Then let's thank Shavi for giving this time and like expressing her all the experiences that have probably if we have more things to discuss, I'll love to have you again.
Yeah, sure.
Deeper discussion. And good luck for your graduate studies applications. And hopefully, I don't know where you're going to apply. Maybe next time we can do a live. I mean, not. I mean, like in-person discussion next year. Hopefully, if you get to come. I mean, if you decide to come to close by. Yeah. So let's thank Shavi and good luck for your future endeavors. And
thank you so much, and good luck to you as well. All the power to you to complete your PhD program, because I know how hard PhD programs are. So, and yeah, and I'm happy that you're doing this, and I'm proud of you too.
Thank you. So yeah, then that's it. එහෙනම් අදට වීඩියෝ එක ඉවරයි. ටිකක් දිග වීඩියෝ එකක් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම පහකට ආසන්න වෙලාවක් tie බලපුවා එඩිට් කරාම ටිකක් අඩු කරගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක කොහොම හරි ටිකක් දිග වීඩියෝ එකක් දිගටම හිටියනම් ගොඩක් ස්තුතියි. ඊළඟ වීඩියෝ එක ඉක්මනටම දාන්න. පල්ලේ තියෙන රතු පාට subscribe button එක channel එක subscribe කරන්න අමතක කරන්න එපා. Ceylon Life community එකේ member කෙනෙක් වෙන්න. මේ වගේ ගොඩක් ලස්සන වැදගත් interesting videos වීඩියෝ එකක් අරගෙන මම ඉක්මනටම ආයෙත් එන්න ගිහිල්ලා එන්න all ඔක්කොටම සුබ දවසක්.